Well, I hope you had a long, awesome holiday weekend full of fun and family and maybe fireworks and beaches and beer and barbecues and everything that our fallen heroes gave us, right? To celebrate this freedom. We know what it is. It's a solemn holiday. You know, you need to honor our veterans and thank them for that. But you enjoy your life too. Now, while you were doing that, you know what your media was doing? You know what they were doing? They were celebrating George Floyd. I'll show you that in a second, as well as the illegals in our country at ICE facilities. That's what they were doing. That's what the media did. Now, usually, anytime we're past Memorial Day or any holiday, just kind of move on. We're on to the next thing, right? Unless you're still on vacation. That would be great. But usually you move on. But our media coverage in our country was so egregiously disgusting this past weekend. I have to talk about it. We have to point out so that they don't get away with this. The great news is they're not getting away with it. Less and less people trust them, believe them, watch them, listen to them. And that's a great thing. And that's fantastic. And why do I say the media? Why do I blame the media? Why are they the target of my ire? Because it was politicians and, famous people doing this. Because they don't have a platform if it's not for the media. These problems are easily solved if they don't cover the people who, I mean it, hate this country. I honestly, I don't know how else to put it. We'll have some examples. But this is great news. And the takeaway here is they have less and less credibility, and that's great. We're seeing right through it. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you. Even if you are still on vacation, I hope you are. Get some better weather than what we've had in the Northeast anyway. I just came from there. Thanks for finding the Wicked Radio live stream and replay on X and YouTube and Facebook and the audio podcast too. Let's get to the first one. This is so good because it sums up everything we're talking about. CBS's Deface the Nation, their Sunday news topic show. And of course, because on Memorial Day weekend, they have to talk to a couple of veterans, right? You'd think they honor for their service and they talk about the sacrifices that they and their families made and their fallen in their stories. Nope. Margaret Brennan. Boy, she'd be a lot of fun at parties, huh? She turns it into what you're about to hear and see here. This is a dark time in our country. Don't let that disturb you, because the great thing was the two guests that she had on Face the Nation, Deface the Nation, we like to call it, were fantastic. Two Medal of Honor heroes, Will Swenson, an Army hero, and Commander Sergeant Major Matt Williams. They were not having the garbage that she was throwing down. And I get it. It comes from the news directors and the producers and the powers up on high and from CBS to tell them to do this kind of thing. But the great thing is, listen to how preposterous her line of questioning is. It's Memorial Day. You've got Medal of Honor heroes by your side, right to your right. And what does she bring up? What's the line of questioning? This is a dark time in our country. But listen to their response. And we'll jump around a little bit on this. We'll take it in pieces.
Coming up on this 250th anniversary of the American experience, what specifically makes you optimistic? Because this country at times can feel dark these days. There's a lot of darkness.
I mean, that was within, 10, 15 seconds of the question. She goes into the, coming up on this 250th anniversary, and she's talking to them, on Memorial Day weekend. There's a lot of darkness. Now, here's the great thing, and I think the guy that takes it first is Will Swenson, Army hero. Listen to the response, and again, we'll jump around, but he's not having it.
Feel optimistic.
Well, ultimately, because we're in Washington, D.C., and everything revolves around politics, we have to remember that politics aren't everything. American lives continue on. Children are born, children go to school, lives are achieved, dreams are achieved. This country is a great place. It's not politics. It's not just what's the news bites coming off of media. Ultimately, we continue forward as a country, continually imperfect, continually evolving forward, always trying to achieve a more perfect union.
Oh, that didn't go well with old Margaret there. She didn't like that too much. So how do you follow that up? She continues with the darkness questions, right? Well, it's but it's bad. But there's a lot of darkness. There are problems. And a perfect answer. And he even took a shot at the media in there. It's not just about politics and selected clips. Oh, that was beautiful. That guy is, oh my God. He should get a second Medal of Honor for that one. And then later on in the interview, she's still pushing with the darkness, right? And this is when Commander Sergeant Major Matt Williams jumps in, and he has, I think, an even better answer. We've got to jump around to the end of this thing. This is about a minute 40 in, but this is even better, I think.
That's what's important to remember.
Take politics aside, out of this whole conversation. Be grateful for what you've got and the opportunities that it's provided for you. And if you do that, I don't see how you can't be optimistic about our future.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. Thank you both, and thank you for your service.
I don't see how you can't be optimistic. Well, thank you. She's got to be a blast at parties, doesn't she? Hey, happy birthday. Well, it's a dark time. Anyway, but that's a perfect example of what's going on right now. These ridiculous, preposterous media organizations going over the top to try to bum everybody out. And instead of making it about our fallen heroes, it's about the darkness of the country. You know, hidden in there what the message is. It's all about Trump and their politics and all this other crap. Here's what's really happening now. And I don't know if you would have seen this a couple of years ago. A couple of veteran heroes not having it and pushing right back and talking about all the greatness that we actually have. That's new. But it's not just on TV, right? It's not just in the mainstream media. You hear that a lot these days, don't you? I do. Maybe because my antenna is up for this kind of stuff, but I don't know. Just in casual conversation. Even people maybe you don't know, you overhear different things. Wherever this crap comes up, I hear way more pushback on this constant negative America bad narrative. I hear it way more often. I do. And I think that's a good thing. I really do. It's another reason why there's the lowest level of trust and credibility with our mainstream media than ever. And we're not going to stop until it's at zero, because the more people listen to that garbage from CBS, the more trouble we're in. So forget that. But that wasn't the only thing. Let's go now to New Jersey. Mikey Sherrill is the Democrat governor of New Jersey. How did she celebrate Memorial Day weekend? Well, she went with protesters to an ICE facility and tried to get in. Didn't get in. She was denied. It was fantastic. They basically told her to GFY herself. But this is what it sounded like. Now, why, again, is this a big deal? Why does it even matter? Because it was covered by, you ready? I had to write this down. Of course, all the New Jersey and New York metro media sources, but also CBS News, them again, NBC, ABC, CNN had it, MS Now had it, all covering her little field trip to the ICE facility where she didn't get in, but that's okay. Mission accomplished for her because she got all the media coverage she wanted. And it sounded like this. When they didn't let her in, you'll hear the idiot protesters in the back going, "Let Cheryl in." Yeah, you know, you and I were visiting family and going to graduations and having barbecues and having beer and go to the beach and having... No, they were protesting ICE facilities. You know, okay, right. Making their jobs even tougher. Doesn't happen unless she gets media coverage, and there it was. All the camera crews ready to go. They were all set, because you know how this works. The governor's office sends out press releases to all of the media organizations, not just in the New York, New Jersey metro area, but everybody. National news too. Made national news. There it is. This is why I blame the media. They don't have a platform if they stop shining a spotlight on these absolute cretins. The absolute disgusting, of all the things she could have done, honoring our veterans, doing different things, laying a wreath, anything. Nope, you're outside an ICE facility. Here you go. That's what it is. But not as bad as what happened in Minneapolis. So how did Tubby Tim Walz celebrate and honor our veterans for Memorial Day weekend? Take any guesses? What's the timing also? What also happened in this 6 years ago? Oh, yeah. You don't lay a wreath. You don't go to maybe even a VA hospital or honor veterans or do a speech about veterans and our fallen heroes. No, you don't do that. Or even, you know, if you took it on a lighter note, you did Memorial Day like party kind of things. Nope. You go to a George Floyd rally if you're Tim Walz. It happened. Sounded like this.
Not bad for an old white guy.
Oh, there it is. I forgot about that part, because you have to disparage your own race because according to Tim Walz, to get votes, all the white people are bad, right? Even though he's an old white guy. Yeah, of course you got to fit that in too. Yeah, that's what he did. That was his Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, I'm sure he made a couple of statements here. Hey, thank our vets, blah blah blah. You know, thank our fallen. Blah, blah. But the dancing and the speeches and the public appearances and the media coverage was at the George Floyd rally. That's what was important to him and them. But he's not as bad as the actual mayor of Minneapolis. And you may have seen this. This isn't media. This was a statement on social media, which is still media because that's where we get the word out right now. And I'm going to read it exactly. This is from Mayor Jacob Frey. Remember Jacob Frey? He was the guy that cried in front of the George Floyd casket, and he did all the things, and he got all kinds of votes because of that. That's him. That's the and the one that has been most vocal of all the mayors, the U.S. mayors in the country, that will not work and will obstruct ICE operations. Yeah, That's him. Here is his statement on Sunday, on Memorial Day. You ready? And I'm going to read it word for word. Mayor Jacob Fry, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today, we remember George Floyd, who was murdered by a former Minneapolis police officer 6 years ago. That moment changed our city forever. Well, it changed your career because that's what you ran on, and that's what you still run on. Now, I will say, just for transparency here, he did make a statement 2 hours later about Memorial Day, where this is about honoring our fallen and all that stuff. But I have a question for you. This is another piece of good news, the pushback on this kind of crap. There was such a backlash, and there was such a ratio on this post that he made on X about George Floyd and not our veterans. It was, they always call it a ratio where it's like you get way more comments than any likes or anything. And there were, they have community notes and people pushing back there, and it was just inflammatory. 2 hours later, he did say, Veterans Memorial Day weekend is about honoring our fallen vets, and thank you for their service and others. I have a question for you. If there wasn't such pushback about his George Floyd post, which came first, does he even make that Memorial Day post? Knowing his history, I tend to think no. I tend to think not. But who's to say? The main thing and the main takeaway is all of these clowns that want to create all of this division in our country, of all things, of all holiday weekends, Memorial Day weekend, when we should be united. We should be united for a common cause. You can't for a 3-day weekend put aside your divide, put aside your political opportunities, and put aside your media opportunities to go outside an ICE facility or the George Floyd rally or posting things about George Floyd or trying to tell Medal of Honor heroes and recipients that this is a dark time in our country. They can't put it aside for that amount of time. They can't do it. They don't have it in themselves. They can't. But again, here's the great thing. The pushback is real on this, for real. The Jacob Fry post from Minneapolis, blasted. He didn't take it down, by the way. It's still up there. Blasted. Universally condemned by people in and out of Minnesota and Minneapolis itself. That's fantastic to see. The pushback in actual media interviews like those two Medal of Honor heroes on Deface the Nation. The grilling that Tubby Tim Walz is getting in Minnesota for going to a George Floyd rally and not honoring veterans, that was fantastic too, all that. But there's another thing too. It's so clear. It's never been clearer and easier to see exactly who's rooting against you. Never been clearer. Yeah, it used to be, it's like, I don't know where that guy feels. I don't really trust him, this guy who's the governor of that state. There's no doubt now. When they honor people like George Floyd, not to get into the background of that whole thing, and him, and the illegals in that ICE facility, many of those illegals, by the way, in that ICE facility, because they are career criminals and were gang members on our streets. That's what Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey was actually, that's who she was standing up for. When people do that, it's never been easier to see who hates you. It's not. And I don't know how else to say it. Those people hate you. They hate your country. They hate you. They want to tear it apart. That's what it is. It's clear as day now. They're not hiding it anymore because they don't know how to hide it anymore because everybody's aware of it. We all have social media now. We're all the media now. We can see all of it in real time. They can't hide. And neither can the networks. Neither can an outlet like CBS's Deface the Nation get away with doing that kind of thing. Because once again, kind of like the Jacob Fry post, the pushback on that thing has been unbelievable. And that's great. Keep it up. All right. Like I said, usually after a holiday, we're kind of like done with the holiday. We move on. But it's the media's fault. They did this. We had to point them out. It's a great thing. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Get into your work week, a short work week, if you're not still on vacation. The replay on X and YouTube, on Facebook for Wicked Radio. Live stream, we knock it out live, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. And the audio podcast, you audio people, thank you so much. I really want to thank you for finding it and downloading it and sharing it, whatever platform you like to find, whether that's iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, or iHeart there, Spreaker, all this stuff. Just look for Wicked Radio with me and you'll find it. More importantly, make it a wicked awesome Tuesday. I'll talk to you tomorrow.